Here's 5 lessons I've learned from 5 years of working out. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Oliver and I'm a natural bodybuilder. I'm going to compete in my second bodybuilding show in about 4.5 weeks from now. I want to make this video for beginners who are looking to get into working out and want to build muscle. These are 5 lessons that I've learned that I wish I knew when I started working out. The first lesson is if you're not growing, you're just not eating enough. I used to be a really skinny kid when I started working out, and I would go to the gym 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, and I still wasn't building muscle. A lot of beginners make this mistake of not eating enough protein, not eating enough food. They go to the gym 6 days a week, 7 days a week, lifting a ton of weight, but they're not growing. You're not building muscle. Why? Because food, protein, is the building blocks of muscle. It doesn't matter how many days you go to the gym, how much you lift, you need to eat food. Imagine you're trying to build a house and you hire a bunch of construction workers to build this house for you, but you don't have the materials. You don't have the wood, you don't have the cement, you don't have the concrete. The construction workers cannot build the house because they don't have the materials. So when you're not eating enough food, when you're not eating enough protein, your body does not have the materials to build muscle. So if you're a skinny kid like I used to be, make sure you're eating enough protein. You should be eating at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for example, if you weigh 150 pounds, try to eat at least 150 grams of protein per day. And don't forget about your carbs and fats because you need those as well. Your body is the most efficient at building muscle when you're in a calorie surplus. When you're eating a lot of food, your body's gonna have a lot more recovery, a lot more energy to work out and to recover and build muscle. Now, if you're overweight, I recommend just eating a lot of protein, and you can still either maintain your weight or even slightly try to lose body fat, and you can still build muscle that way. But you will always build muscle faster if you're in a calorie surplus. The second lesson is to stick to the basics. Nowadays with social media and so many different influencers and different exercises and workout programs, it gets easy to get caught up in all these different types of exercises and techniques. But honestly, you just need the basics because the basics work. In fact, I believe the basics work even better than the complicated stuff. Even at 5 years of working out, I'm still doing the basics. Bench press, squats, barbell rows, pull-ups, push-ups. I'm doing leg press. I'm doing lat pull down. And my training split, push-pull legs. I've been doing push-pull legs for 5 years. Why? Because it works. You don't need to do anything complicated. You don't need to buy a workout program. You can look up any basic training split on the internet, and I promise you that split will work for you. The reason why this is especially important as a beginner is because you need to focus on your form and technique. It doesn't matter how much weight you can do. It doesn't matter what exercise you're doing. If you don't have good form, you're wasting your time. Make sure you get perfect form on each exercise. And if you need to lower the weight to get better form, then lower the weight. There's no point in lifting a bunch of weight if your form is really bad and you're not getting enough reps. Because at the end of the day, the goal here is not to lift as much weight as you can, unless you're a power lifter. You're just trying to build muscle. You need to break down that muscle fiber. You need to be able to contract that muscle and get it to work. You need to work it. You need to make it tired and break it down. And you do this by having good form and having good mind-muscle connection. I recommend push-pull leg split to literally anybody. It's super simple. Push day, you hit chest, shoulders, triceps. Pull day, you hit back and biceps. And on leg day, you just hit legs. The reason why this split is so effective is because on your push day, all the movements that you're doing involve pushing. And when you're doing a movement like bench press, for example, you're not just working your chest, you're working your shoulders and your tricep. All these muscles work together to push weight. And on your pull day, you work your back muscles and your biceps at the same time. And this allows your chest, shoulders, and triceps to recover on your pull day when you're working out your back and bicep. And when you're doing your push day, your back biceps are also recovering because you're not working these muscles. So it's a very efficient workout split that allows you to recover and work out efficiently. Third lesson that I've learned is to stay patient and consistent and stick through this for at least 2 to 3 weeks before you see results. It's so easy to give up and lose motivation when you don't see the results. And I understand this. It's frustrating. You feel like you're wasting your time. But I promise you, if you just give it at least 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, that's when you'll start to see a difference in your physique. You'll start to see progress. You'll notice your weight is going up, you're getting stronger. And once you see this result, this is gonna motivate you so much. It's gonna keep you coming back for more and more because you're seeing the results. The work that you're putting in, you're actually getting something out of it. A lot of people make this mistake of going to the gym, they're consistent for maybe 1 or 2 weeks and they don't see results yet, so they just give up. If they had just kept going just a little bit longer, then they would start to see the results. Then they would start to get motivated and then they can stay consistent. So just be patient, stay consistent, and I promise you, you're gonna see the results. Building muscle is a very slow process, especially if you're a natural. So don't get discouraged if you don't see the results right away. And also make sure to take progress pictures. You don't need to show them to anybody, just keep them for yourself. You can look at these pictures a couple weeks later and you'll notice the difference in your physique. Day by day, you don't notice those changes. You see yourself in the mirror and you get used to how you look, but when you look back at old pictures, differences are very noticeable. This is very motivating. So I highly recommend taking progress pictures. The fourth lesson that I learned is to not cut until you've built up a good amount of muscle. This means bulking for maybe at least 1 to 2 years. The reason why I don't recommend cutting is because if you haven't built up enough muscle, you're just gonna be a skinny little kid. You're not gonna have a lot of muscle to show. Building muscle is a very slow process. And personally, I didn't cut for at least 3 years of working out, you know. I did have months when I would just maintain my physique, or maybe I lost a little bit of weight just because I wasn't eating enough. But I didn't go on an actual serious hard cut till my 4th year of lifting when I competed in my first bodybuilding show. You see all these people on social media just shredded all the time, and most of these guys use steroids, and even when they are that shredded, they don't actually feel good. Pretty low energy, hungry all the time, you're tired. You know, it looks really good, but it's not worth being shredded year round. Honestly, you have a lot more energy at a higher body fat percentage, anywhere between 10 to 15%. And this number is different for everybody. And especially if you haven't even built up the muscle yet, you don't want to get shredded because you don't even have muscle to show. Even like you can't lift for 6 months and be like, all right, I'm gonna get shredded, because you're just not gonna have enough muscle unless you use steroids. But it's just not worth it unless you've already built up that muscle. And it's gonna take a few years. If you're young and you're growing, you're gonna build muscle pretty fast. So trust the bulk. The bulk is worth it, all right? Sacrifice a few months of not having abs, a few months of looking a little bit fluffy. You don't even need to get super overweight. I don't believe in like the dirty bulk. You can lean bulk. I have a video on that as well on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out. Trust the bulk, it's worth it. You're gonna feel better, you're gonna be strong, you're gonna have so much energy. And being shredded is just kind of overrated. It only looks good for Instagram. But other than that, you look small in a t-shirt, you feel shitty, you have no energy. It just looks cool, but it really, your quality of life goes down. The fifth lesson, and honestly probably the most important lesson that I learned, not compare yourself to other people. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah, bro, I've heard this a million times. Don't compare yourself to other people. Focus on yourself, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually true. Listen. It gets so easy to get discouraged from working out when you go on social media, you see hundreds and thousands of guys on the Explore page, shredded, huge, they're on steroids, they've been working out for 10, 20 years, and you're here just like a skinny little kid, you 1 month into working out. It's like, I get it. It's so discouraging. But listen, let me tell you something. When I first started working out, I was a skinny little kid. I would look around at people at the gym, like guys that were bigger than me, like very muscular. And like I admire and I respect the work that they put in. But I would always just focus on improving my lift. You know, if I bench pressed 185 pounds 1 week and then next week I bench pressed 190 pounds, that made me happy. I literally enjoyed that so much. And I enjoyed improving each week and each month. And that's what kept me going, and that's what made me fall in love with the process, going to the gym and just getting better. Because at the end of the day, it's just you versus you. It doesn't matter where other people are at. There's always going to be someone smaller than you and someone bigger than you. So what's the point of comparing yourself to other people? Because you always have the option of looking at someone who's better than you, who has more experience than you, been lifting longer than you. You will get the most amount of pleasure and joy in just improving yourself, improving from last week, building muscle, looking at those old progress pictures and seeing how far you've come and how much further you can go. How can I improve my lift this week? How can I improve my physique this week? And you're gonna have ups and downs, but it's that process that keeps you motivated, that keeps you driven. Let me tell you something. Even once you do reach that that physique that you always wanted. Once you get there, you're gonna want more. You're gonna want to keep improving. There's no limit. There is no end. Where I'm at right now with my physique, I genuinely had just as much happiness and joy when I first started working out 5 years ago. When I bench pressed 2 plates for the first time, I was just as happy then than when I bench pressed 3 plates for the first time. Because it's not about the actual number itself. It's not about where you are. It's just being able to achieve that new milestone, pushing for that new boundary, just getting better. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just about the process. That's what's going to keep you motivated. It doesn't matter where other people are at. You know, competition is healthy, of course. Like, I get motivated looking at other people, seeing people that are further ahead of me, but I also understand that they put in that work. And I think it's healthy to look at people and admire their hard work and use that as inspiration to chase your own goals, to improve yourself and become the best version of yourself. So those are 5 lessons that I've learned from 5 years of working out. By no means do I believe I know it all. You know, there's guys that have been working out for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but this is just something that I wish I knew when I first started getting into the gym. And I hope this was helpful for you. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to like and subscribe because it helps me out a lot. I'm competing in my second bodybuilding show in 4.5 weeks. And so if you want to stay updated on that, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I will see you in the next video.